What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to talk about some great Cofagrigus teams that you guys can use for the Great League or Great League Remix Cup. Now this is an article made by Go Stadium, so shout out to them. I'm going to provide that link down in the description and the comments for you guys if you want to come check this out, read it for yourself, and get the graphic. But what they've made is they've written a fantastic article talking about different teams that you guys can use for Cofagrigus, and as we can see here, we got quite a few. Now I'm not going to dive into all of them, but I'm going to dive into some of them. First thing I want you guys to know, the Rainy Cast Form Cofagrigus and Drapion. This is where I got that idea for the team that I ran earlier on my first day. If you guys want to see that video, it's already on the channel, and you guys can go check that out right there. Let's go ahead and start from the top. The first team that we're going to check out is Cofagrigus, Registeel, and Vigoroth. Put it into pvpoke.com, as you guys can see right here. And it's got some pretty nice coverages. And again, the top couple things, Azumarill, Sableye, and then Scrafty as well, Drifblim as well. But I think this team could have some play. Basically, the premise behind it is if you lose lead, safe swap into that Vigoroth, draw out that Fighter, or potentially the only counter to a Registeel, and look to sweep with that endgame. So that's going to be team 1. Team 2 is going to be this double kind of fighter, but not fighter team in the back. So it's going to be a Scrafty and Vigoroth. So again, another Vigoroth like team 1 there. And we're going to go ahead and dive into that. So this is the Cofagrigus, Scrafty, Vigoroth team. Hopefully you guys can see over there. Yeah, you can see. It's got really nice coverages on the meta, as you guys can see. Basically, some of the biggest, most common losses you're going to be seeing is Azumarill and Sableye, but that can be handled by everything on this team. Just because an Azumarill can technically beat each of these individual Pokemon, it cannot beat a whole team by itself. And with Vigoroth safe swap, again, you might draw out that Shadow Machamp, you might draw out that Medicham. That Vigoroth can still put pressure on with Body Slam and then let Scrafty sweep endgame. Cofagrigus can come back into that. So it's pretty nice setup right here. Again, Azumarill, Sableye as common weaknesses, but I think it can be totally handled by this team. Now moving into team 3. I believe it is going to be the Cofagrigus, Shadow Machamp, and Lickitung team. So that is going to be this team down here. This team kind of stood out to me because Shadow Machamp does so well at closing out a lot of games, especially if you can get rid of some of its hardest counters. Now taking a look here on PvPoke, as you can see, the X's and O's are pretty nice. Again, Azumarill has been a great counter to a lot of these previous teams, but it can be managed. This one we also have the Power Whip there on XL Lickitung, which is going to be very nice. Rock Slide still do a lot of damage. Same with Shadow Balls. Now some of the biggest weaknesses you're going to see, Wigglytuff can do pretty well against this team, but again, totally managed. Now moving on to the Great League Remix, again, there's a lot of other teams here, as you guys can see, that you can dive into, read, and learn how to play. But one of them I think here looks pretty good, especially with all the Charmers that are around, is Cofagrigus, Registeel, and Shadow Nidoqueen. And Shadow Nidoqueen being that safe swap, it can really set you up nicely to come back in and farm down. Plus, if there are any Charmers in the meta, they're going to get absolutely destroyed by the Registeel Nidoqueen backline as well. So looking over on pvpoke.com, we have this team plugged into there, and it's got really great coverages. Obviously, the blaring weaknesses here are going to be a Diggersby and a Whiscash, which can be managed. Diggersby is going to be a bit tougher, but you do have Focus Blast, you do have Earth Power, and you do have Psychic there for neutral or super effective damage. Whiscash as well, but Whiscash would honestly be better because you can use the Shadow Balls there from Cofagrigus. But I think this team can be managed and can do really well. If you guys are seeing a lot of Charmers, this team might be the one for you right here. It looks extremely strong, but the biggest, like I said, two biggest things are going to be the ground boys right here, Diggersby and Whiscash. All right, and the final team is the team that I ran first, which is going to be the Rainy Cast Form, Cofagrigus, and Drapion. Now, they say Shadow Drapion, but I don't have one, so I ran a normal Drapion, and it seemed all right. To be fair, it was my first battles of Season 9, so you guys kind of know how that goes between like levels 1 and 5. It's pretty all over the place there. But taking a look at the team overall, I think it has fantastic coverages. Rainy Cast Form as well, it's really nice on the lead versus a lot of meta Pokemon that we see. Registeel, Nidoqueen, Diggersby, Whiscash. That is very, very common. Same with Frostlass and Lapras and Wigglytuff. It has great matchups against those on the lead. We use Shadow Drapion as the safe swap, and then Cofagrigus as close right there. So that is definitely a strong team. Obstagoon can be kind of trouble for this team, but if you guys check out the video, I faced off against a couple Obstagoons, and it was managed, especially with Rainy Cast Form. Water Gun and Weather Ball is still extremely nice and spammy to take it down. But those were some Cofagrigus teams. I want this video to be nice and short for you guys. Yeah, it's about 6 minutes or so. Nice and short for you guys. Again, there's a full article and they go into depth about everything, breaking it all down for you. But this is just some teams that you guys can run, plus the Pokemon that can potentially beat them. So if you're seeing a lot of, let's say, Scrafties and Sableyes in Open Great League, maybe don't run this team, right? Maybe run, I don't know, this team with the Wigglytuff, right? Because Wigglytuff can destroy the Scrafty and the Sableye there. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, this article is linked down in the description and the comments if you guys want to go check that out, so you guys can try all these teams out. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.